How do I incorporate feedback in my animations? Well, when I first receive feedback, I always make sure that I fully understand it and how it relates to my animations. I'll ask for clarification, or I'll reiterate it in my own words to make sure I'm on the same page as the person who's giving me the feedback. Then I'll translate the feedback into actionables for myself. For example, if someone's feedback were, can you make that thing look heavier, or that action look heavier, I will translate that into bend the knees more, speed up the timing, add some more follow through. Those are some of the actionables I would create for myself based on that feedback. Then I would apply it and look at it again and see where I can make more changes or look for more critique to see how I can improve the animation. My creative process varies from project to project because each project has its own requirements and its own tools. But the core aspect of my process that I find myself doing across all projects starts with research. Researching my project helps me find the ambiance or the purpose behind the animation, and that's kind of what drives everything moving forward. I'll research it by interviewing the client, looking at other similar projects and seeing what people liked or disliked about those, or even just typing it into Google. The next step would be reference. Finding reference or building reference depending on what action it is. If it's something you can't do, then finding that reference that is most similar to what you want to animate, or acting out the actions you want your character to take and recording them. This is 50% of the animation, because whatever your reference looks like is going to be what your animation looks like without the extra added touches of exaggeration and such. But that is one of the key parts of the animation process. And the next step would be pushing it further. At every stage of animating, I always like to pause and think about how I can push that stage further. When I'm staging an animation based on animatics, general descriptions, my own research and reference videos, looking and seeing if I can find a clearer camera angle or a better perspective. Then again, when I am blocking out the animation, after I've keyed the poses, overshoot the breakdowns, looking at each pose and seeing if I can push that line of action a little bit further. And finally, when I'm cleaning the animation, I see when I've added overlap, if I can add more overlap, push the follow through a little bit further. Those are the steps that I take when I'm animating, and I think that especially pushing it a little bit further than what I originally thought was the most impactful, creates more dynamic and visually impactful animations. I admire companies like StoryCorps for their dedication to sharing unique experiences. I believe that the strongest way to connect with an audience is through animation. So these companies using the animation format to amplify some overlooked voices will create a more inclusive community. With my work at Limitless Solutions, another nonprofit that is focused on inclusivity, I was animating for a game that kids will play while practicing using their prosthetic arms. And knowing this, I was even more motivated to create animations that were fun and felt fun inside the game.